In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my addiction to energy drinks. I'm going to tell you how it began, some of the consequences that I suffered, and then I'm going to give you some tips on quitting drinking caffeine if that's something that you want to do. If you're new to the channel, just a little background on me. Not only was I addicted to energy drinks, but I was also addicted to nicotine products. I vaped and I chewed tobacco predominantly. And I was probably one of the first people in New York State to smoke a dank vape cartridge. I consumed cannabis regularly, but towards the end of my journey, I was consuming a lot of the black market THC cartridges. And it's important that you know that because all the health consequences that I suffered were definitely not just the result of drinking energy drinks. The first thing becomes, how did I get into energy drinks? I think like most people, I had to be 15 or 16 years old, something like that. And I was on a bike ride with one of my friends near my house. We stopped in the local 7-Eleven. The energy drink looked appealing, picked it up, drank it, and I was hooked. It was a Monster black can with the blue M on it. I went for the low sugar ones. I was always very conscious about my sugar intake. I'd put out a lot of other stuff in my body, but sugar, I was very worried about that always, which I'm thankful for because I think that would have ruined my health even more. So I drank this. I fell in love with Monster. And from the age of, honestly, I had to be like 16 to 18 years old at that point. And I drank one Monster every morning when I would wake up from the age of like 16 to 18 all the way up until I quit, which was between 27 and 28 years old. One Monster every day does not keep the doctor away is what I learned. I also worked at Vitamin Shop at the time as a part-time associate, and I was really big into working out, and I was really big into pre-workout products. We would constantly get free samples of different types of pre-workout. Like I was taking the original Jacked 3D formula with DMAA. We would get C4 samples, hydroxycut samples. I mean, there was just any pre-work, Super Pump 250, NO Explode. I tried it. If it was a pre-workout from my era, I consumed it because I worked at a vitamin store. And my routine would usually be a Monster in the morning and then a pre-workout in the afternoon or later on in the day prior to going to the gym. So I was, in fact, a caffeine junkie. Now, as I got into college and my degree, I have a doctorate in chiropractic care, was a demanding degree where you go to school year round for 7.5 years. You know, many times I'd have to pull an all-nighter studying, and caffeine was my go-to. Caffeine and nicotine were my go-tos. And then eventually weed was what I would use to put me to sleep after getting hopped up on stimulants. Throughout college, my caffeine abuse got worse. I started drinking 5-hour energies throughout the day. I started to drink Diet Pepsi Max. I was real big on Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, any type of pop or energy drink. Rockstar, eventually Bang energy drinks came out. Before Bang, that same company, VPX, was making Redline energy drinks. I was drinking those. They had one, it was like Redline for sexual performance. I drank that a handful of times. I was a stimulant junkie, okay? That's my point. Really, my health was starting to decline rapidly. And I lived like this all throughout college and even into my professional career. And when I first got out of school, I was doing personal training. And it was really tough. Like you'd start work. I'd have to wake up at like 3:30 in the morning. I would go work from 5 a.m. till 11 a.m. doing personal training. And then I would work in my chiropractic office. And then I would go back to Vitamin Shop or back to personal training from like 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. And I did this for a long time. So I was constantly exhausted. And I relied on a Monster in the morning or a pre-workout. I relied on then another pick-me-up mid-afternoon. And sometimes for the hell of it, I would just drink like a Diet Pepsi on my way home from work because I didn't like coffee. And when I did drink coffee, I would drink Americanos or espressos. Time goes on, and I started to develop a lot of muscle twitching, a lot of stomach problems. I was getting headaches. I was getting skin problems. All types of weird health stuff was happening. And I noticed every time I would drink an energy drink, my muscles would uncontrollably twitch. Like it started with my eye, then it was my leg, then it was my arms, then my hands, my gut, like my abdominal muscles, my thighs, my hamstrings, every muscle in my body would twitch. And I felt terrible. I would drink these energy drinks hoping to get a burst of energy. And honestly, I looked like a corpse. Like I was borderline just dead on my couch some afternoons, couldn't move, even after drinking a Monster and a pre-workout. I was getting really, really sick, and it landed me in a neurologist office. And they were testing me for like MS and all these other neurological diseases. And here I am, chewing tobacco, smoking carts, pounding energy drinks. And I told this doctor, and he was like, look, man, we could continue to test you, but you got to stop. Like, you got to stop everything. And I didn't stop right away. I continued my behavior for a little while after that. And eventually I cut out the energy drinks. And that was really hard because I craved the flavor. I craved the buzz that an energy drink would give me, even though at that point it wasn't really giving me much of anything. And I'd go for a while, and then I would relapse. And I'd relapse, and I'd feel like complete crap again. Like my whole health would just fall apart on an energy drink. And mind you, I'm still, using my vape, chewing tobacco, and smoking weed. It wasn't until I permanently quit drinking energy drinks that I started to feel better. Now, the first thing I quit of those products was weed, then energy drinks, then nicotine. And they were all within a very short time span of one another. I stopped. Energy drinks, I think the big problem that you run into is you got to look at your lifestyle. Like, here I am not sleeping, working way more than I was capable of working. Then I'm working out on top of it, further stressing and exhausting my body and my nervous system. And here I am relying on an energy drink just to get through the day. If you're relying on energy drinks to stay awake, to just get through your day, to just survive another day, there is something else wrong. Is it your sleep? Is it your job? Is it your nutrition? Right? Like, chances are if you need energy drinks to get through your day, there's a really good chance that there's something else in your life that's like way out of balance or way out of whack. I think a lot of people who are kind of like me, scattered brained and all over the place and who want to be successful, they gravitate towards energy drinks. They drink a lot of coffee. They like stimulants. It's funny because I think a lot of these people, after abusing it for a while, eventually stop, like I did, because they start to see, you read about Elon Musk, he used to like pound coffee and diet pop, and now I think he said he limits himself to 2 cups of coffee a day because he realized that by drinking that much caffeine, he was actually becoming unproductive. You can Google it and read about his story somewhere. So quitting was hard, and if you're thinking about quitting, I recommend quitting like you would quit anything else. Go cold turkey, cut out all sources of caffeine, like no tea, no coffee. I did the whole thing like, I won't drink energy drinks. I'll just drink coffee, or I'll just drink diet pop, or, I'll just drink this lightly caffeinated tea. If you're really struggling with like pre-workout addiction and energy drink addiction, no caffeine, cold turkey on it all. Let your body crash, get through the headaches, get through the sweating, get through the shakiness that you have, right? And just let your cortisol levels rebalance. Let your insulin levels rebalance. Let your glucose levels rebalance. Just let your body do its thing. Now, caffeine to fully detox, I've read that it can take up to 30 days. So don't be surprised if you quit and you feel like crap for the first few weeks, because there's a good chance that if you've been consuming a lot of caffeine, especially if it's in the form of pre-workout or energy drinks, don't expect to quit caffeine and feel great right away, because your body has to go through detox and then it has to learn how to get through day-to-day things without caffeine, without the drug, without the stimulant. I tried things like seltzer waters and stuff like that. I would drink like a Puree seltzer water or, caffeine-free tea. I stopped all of it. I just drink water now. And that's my advice to you guys. If you're going to do something, drink like lemon water if you want to flavor it, but just focus on drinking more water. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you've been neglecting your body quite a bit, and I think it would appreciate if you drank more water. That's kind of my story on caffeine addiction. It sucked. It was hard to get through. And I think there's a lot of people in the same boat like me, where they're relying on nicotine and caffeine to get through their day, and then they're smoking weed to sleep at night. And it's dangerous. I'm telling you guys, when I hit 28, 27 years old, all the things that I didn't feel, all the health effects that I didn't feel, I suddenly felt, and they hit me like a ton of bricks. I woke up one day and I went from being healthy to being extremely sick, and I'm still working on rebuilding my health and rebuilding 5 years, almost 5 years later now, from not consuming caffeine. And like, if I drink any caffeine, my hands go numb, my feet goes numb, I get twitching again. Like, I fried my nervous system on this stuff. So I can't touch it. People are going to ask me like, oh, do you still drink caffeine? I can't touch caffeine, period. And if it's something you guys have been thinking about quitting, seriously consider it. I mean, I can hustle now through a 12-hour day, 13-hour day, easy, patient care, doing coaching calls, making YouTube videos, and have the energy to get through it. And I do get tired. I get tired often, but now I give my body the opportunity to rest and heal. And I think that's a really bad side effect of energy drinks. If you're tired and your body's telling you it needs to rest, give it that rest. When you try and push through that barrier and you try and fight through that, that's when you get sick. Your body will shut itself down if you don't give it the break it needs. And that's exactly what was happening to me. I wasn't giving my body the rest it needed. So my body said, I'm going to shut down and I'm going to force you to give me rest. Towards the end of my journey, I was almost incapable of doing day-to-day tasks because I had such bad fatigue and such bad burnout and all that stuff. And I think there's a lot of people out there who need to hear this message, because I know I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only one who suffers from the triad of addiction: nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and then we can throw in adult media content too. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Follow me in the next video about caffeine withdrawal.